Dear friends, uh, welcome back. I hope that you still are comfortable. The guided deep looking meditation that we're going to do right now um, is short, and it's intended to uh, help us um, connect more deeply, just the next layer deep, um, with our heart and mind. And one of the reasons we do it now is so that then we can carry that connection to the Dharma sharing groups, which will follow. And so it's a kind of a lead in for that. Have us all sort of tuned in the same way to our inner life and to the experience we're having inside ourselves and of our life right now. And we tune in the same way that way, and then we'll come back out into our Dharma sharing groups to work on understanding more deeply by listening to each other and perhaps by sharing our own insight. So you're invited to be present with breathing in the body. And as the in-breath happens, follow it into the heart of the body. And as the out-breath happens, stay there in the heart of the body. And then let the in-breath wash in again to that space in the heart of the body. And let it leave again, but stay there. Breathing in, I come home to my heart, to feeling in my heart. Breathing out, I rest and I open in my heart, aware of my heart, opening my heart. And as I continue to breathe in and out, aware of my heart space, I see that space as a kind of rich and fertile soil in which there are so many possibilities, so many potentials, so many seeds. And I am aware that there are many wholesome seeds within me, many happy seeds within me, seeds of joy and ease, seeds of patience and respect, seeds of peace and contentment, of presence, of relaxation, of care and compassion, so many happy seeds inside. Breathing in, I am aware of wholesome seeds within me. And breathing out, I smile with all the wholesome seeds in me. I feel myself filling up with all that wholesomeness. As I continue to breathe in and out, aware of my heart space, I am aware that there are also many unwholesome potentials, possibilities, seeds within me, seeds of suffering. And I open my heart space with awareness to hold and embrace those seeds of suffering, of anxiety, of sadness, of hurt, of anger. There are so many places in me where there are wounds, where needs are unmet. And breathing in, I am aware of the suffering seeds in me. Breathing out, I embrace and welcome, accepting and holding the suffering seeds in me. Aware of seeds of suffering, embracing seeds of suffering. And as I hold that space for the seeds of suffering in me, I allow myself to notice which one or two of those seeds are most prominent for me right now. In my daily life, in recent days and weeks, which of these seeds has been prominent, has been touched and watered and present in my daily life? And I find the name, the word that describes this seed, and I continue to hold it in the embrace of my heart breathing, aware of the seed of suffering and embracing it. And I am aware that all seeds come from somewhere, that all seeds come from many places. And I open my heart to ask this seed of suffering, where is it that you come from? How have you been watered? What are the conditions which have come into me to allow you to grow so fruitful and strong lately? And I identify one or two or several of those conditions. Breathing in, I am aware of the causes of my suffering. Breathing out, I smile, accepting and seeing, recognizing the causes that have come together to shape my suffering. They may be causes seemingly outside of me, in society, in family and work. They may be causes inside of me, my self-criticism and judgment, unmet expectations I hold, and so on. And now I take a moment to ask of my suffering, now that I can see it and understand where it comes from a little bit, I take a moment to listen. Dear seed of suffering, is there anything that you need to tell me? Is there anything you would like to ask of me? Is there anything I can do to help you feel safe? Is there anything that you can do to help me understand myself and the world? I know that you are there because you want to help me, to show me something, to protect me in some way. When I open my heart to listen, seed of anxiety, seed of pain, seed of sadness, seed of anger. Is there anything you'd like to say? I'm listening. Breathing in, I listen to my suffering. Breathing out, I receive the insight from my suffering. Listening to suffering, receiving insight. Now I return with a few more breaths to my heart space as a whole, aware of the tremendous capacity I have to care for my inner life, just as if I were caring for a child or many children, or a dear and loved one outside of myself. I can care for my inner life. Breathing in, I am aware of my heart, full of possibility, full of potential, full of seeds. Breathing out, I smile with my heart. Breathing in, I feel myself a gardener in my heart's garden. Breathing out, I smile with tender care for my heart's garden. Dear friends, thank you for practicing touching in deeply with ourselves and our inner life. I I find moments like this very helpful for me to be able to sort of take an account, an assessment of how I'm doing. You might like to note down on a piece of paper or in a journal the things you see in a meditation like that. Like when you connect with that seed of suffering inside, to note, you come from here, you come from there, and put it down on paper so you really see it clearly. And and then you can open to embrace those myriad conditions that have come together to form the experience of suffering. And as you do so, the insight naturally arises as to how to take care of it. And that means, in the words of our teacher, what to do and what not to do. We both take action in the sense of what we are going to engage in to cultivate to help ourselves, but also what we are going to refrain from doing, and sometimes refrain from consuming through eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body in order to not nourish our suffering anymore. And uh, I focused on this meditation on the seed of suffering. You can also focus on the seeds of happiness. And the seeds of happiness will grow as you do that, just like your ability to care for the suffering grows as you care for it in your heart and mind. Your seeds of happiness will grow as you spend time caring for them. So uh, I, I encourage us, perhaps in our Dharma sharing, to bring these two questions forward to our groups. And in just a moment, someone's going to explain how that works, how we'll be broken out into small groups for Dharma sharing. But the two questions I'd like to invite you to carry out of this meditation are, one, how do I care for the suffering that is in me? Right? Aware that it's there. How am I caring for it? How am I developing my understanding? How am I nourishing or not nourishing it? And some cases with suffering in particular, you want to try to not nourish it so it doesn't grow. Right? The other question is the flip side. How do I nourish the happiness in me? So at this time of my life, how am I caring for my suffering? At this time of my life, how am I nourishing the happiness in me? And some of the answers that arise for you out of this kind of deep looking may be activities you are doing outwardly in your life, and some of it may be time you're taking inwardly to reflect, to connect, to let go, to resculpt, to reshape your experience of perceiving the world and yourself and your suffering. So it's both an inner and an outer aspect to these questions. How do I care for the suffering that's in me? And how am I nourishing happiness in me? So I'm going to bow out now and allow our Dharma discussion mediation to take over. Thank you, dear friends.